Hello and welcome into another Red Out podcast. Just making sure we're connected here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate all your support. Doing all the YouTube pleasantries to begin with, and if you know some other WKU fans, talk about the podcast for us. We'd appreciate it. Let's get into this tonight, guys. We got basketball and some football to talk.
Hey, how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
I am not ashamed to admit in the past, I've needed a therapist. We all need someone, and it's a strong person who can admit it. I talked to my doctor, who referred me to a therapist, and I really didn't have much say as to who the therapist was. But with this episode's sponsor, BetterHelp, you do. You can filter out who you would like to talk to, age, gender, religion, and more to pair you with the person who works best for you. And if the person isn't exactly who you were wanting, you're not stuck. You can switch counselors. BetterHelp strives to offer affordable, professional, and accessible online therapy. So go to betterhelp.com/redout today to save 10%. By doing this, you not only support us, you can work toward a brighter, healthier you. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Yes, thank you to BetterHelp. Don't forget, betterhelp.com/redout. If you need a therapist or someone, they can pair you with someone. And like it says in the ad, if you don't like that person, you can switch. Not a big deal. It's pretty flexible. Hey, Matt, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, man, let's go.
I know, right? I have done a little show prep tonight. Had a wild day, first off.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I had my little one all day. My mother, and due to the inclement weather and some back issues, she wasn't able to come up and watch Abby, my mother and father. So me and Abby kind of worked it out today, and we traveled around, and I had 2 doctor's appointments. One got canceled, and I didn't know it until I showed up. That was fun.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to call you. No, you didn't. You didn't even leave a voicemail. Like,
were they half a knuckle deep before they said, "Never mind, you don't have an appointment"?
Oh, I was in the door. I'd signed in.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they'd already started the exam.
No. There was no knuckles in anything. Luckily, it was a dermatologist. Okay.
Oh,
they don't do that kind of thing.
Hopefully, you're not saying the dermatologist about
my butthole. No.
Well, we just said butthole 2 minutes into the show.
Hey, it's
gonna
wild.
be rough.
It's a wild one tonight. So like my favorite thing to talk about is going to be the first thing I talk about tonight. Dallas Cowboys lost to the Green Bay Packers 48-32.
That's why you wanted to talk about it. I got it. Okay.
How about them boys?
Oh, man.
Woo. Cheeseheads. Yes.
I'll tell you what, man. Poor Dallas.
Dude, of course, okay. Full stop, full discretion. And I told my brother this too, because he's a Dallas fan. He almost jumped off a ledge, I'm pretty sure, the other night when Dallas lost. But I told him, I said, I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch it. Did not watch it. This is a rebuilding year. I watched the first game where they got thumped by the Lions, and I said, okay, I'm done. I'm turning it off. I'm not going to watch anymore because it's a rebuilding year. I just wrote it off. Rebuilding year. Mm-hmm. We'll let it go at that. My cousin, who is a Niners fan, texted me the other night, and he goes, are you watching Green Bay right now? And I was like, no. Why would I? Cousin Jake, founding member of the podcast. But he texted me, are you watching the game? And I said, no. And he goes, they are thumping Dallas right now. And I checked the score, and I was like, oh, this is so great. We will probably lose the next round, but I'm okay with this.
Who do they face? The Niners?
They have the Niners next, and they'll probably lose, and that's okay.
That's a heck of a showing.
Honestly, my expectations are so low this year, like they've exceeded them already. I'm completely fine with this. Now, I mean, honestly, that's my opinion right now because I didn't think they'd even make the playoffs. Like I had already written them off. I'm like, we're going to lose to everybody in the Northern Division, which they're all garbage, but we'll lose to them anyway. So be it. I mean, it's the first time the Detroit Lions have been to a playoff since like the 50s. I think is what I heard the other day.
It's because Broderick Martin led them there
Yeah, sure,
with
okay.
his 3 tackles.
Yeah, yeah, they're not good. I'm sorry. I loved Barry Sanders back in the day, but as a team, the Lions have been hot garbage.
They got something brewing there in Detroit, though. Like,
But they got Matthew Stafford now. No, not Matthew Stafford. Shoot, what's the
Jared
other
Goff.
dude? Jared Goff. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of switched. That screwed me up. Yeah, Matthew Stafford is playing for the Rams, correct?
Yeah, they traded those 2 guys.
By the way, Joe Flacco at the Cleveland Browns is the greatest thing in the history of ever. Dude is older than some 45? Of his teammates. Yeah, he's like, I could be your dad, is basically what he's telling kids. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Let's just throw stuff down. But anyway, he's like, yeah, I could be your dad. Basically is what he's telling the dudes in the locker room. He's like, if I screwed up in high school and got a girl pregnant, I could be your dad. And I was like, dude, what in the heck is going on in Cleveland? So
nothing to talk about. It's Cleveland.
Well, I mean, I guess he just doesn't have anything to talk about. They're like, hey, did you see that on TikTok? And he's like, what? Is that a clock? What is this? Like I'm just picturing Joe Flacco not having any idea what all this young stuff is.
Tick.
He is like the Cleveland Brown equivalent of me. So, yeah. He's like, there's a thread on Instagram now? What is this stuff? Hey, I twatted at you earlier. Did you see my tweet?
That's Facebook. I had a great uncle calls it Spacebook.
Spacebook. Yeah. When I want to mess with somebody, I always add the and an S to whatever it is. So it's the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the MySpaces, oh yeah, all that good stuff. You got to add all that extra stuff into it.
You still get on MySpace?
I did try one day just to see how it looks, just because it's like, is it still there? And of course, I think it's been probably about 2 or 3 years, and there is actually still like sites.
MySpace.
You're gonna try and get on your MySpace. In other news, Tyler Higbee got injured. I believe he tore his ACL. Is that what we were talking about the other night?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's sad. I hate that.
Oh man, that was ugly. Yeah, he could have been more injured than that. He landed on his neck and shoulder, and obviously the ACL is a big deal. But yeah, it could have been even worse. So I wish him a speedy recovery. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Like love Tyler. Obviously a hilltopper. We're completely behind you, buddy. Hope everything goes well, and hope you have a nice recovery during the off season. Hypothetically, let's see, the Rams have lost, haven't they?
Yeah, they lost to the Lions.
Okay, just checking. Because I was going to say, I'm trying to see if I can get into mine.
Well, but while you're doing that, MySpace.
Nope. I don't even remember the email I used to get into it, so it don't matter. But anyway.
Let me talk about MySpace.
If you're not friends with Tom, you are really messed up, but go ahead.
So MySpace has breaking news from 2022.
Oh my God.
Bikini Kill Detail 2022 Summer Tour.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, back to the NFL.
No, you're good. But yes, completely wish Tyler Higbee the best. It sounds bad, but I'm kind of glad the Rams are out of it, and it's not anything against him or anything like that. But like, if they had gone to the Super Bowl and he's injured, he wouldn't get the bonus, would he? I don't know how that works. I don't know the ins and outs of their contracts and stuff. I don't know if it's just the team or like if everybody would get the bonus. So if somebody knows, write in. We'd appreciate it. Get us a little more education on this stuff. And then let me put my notes back up. basically the only thing what in the hell is going on downstairs?
Is that your daughter?
Yes, that is my daughter.
Let's see. Okay, do NFL players on IR get paid for the playoffs? Yes, they do get paid during the playoffs.
Nice.
Playoff game checks are separate and additional than NFL contract play. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Coach Obi, I had him for a sports management class in college.
Oh, okay.
He brought his contract.
That's cool. It's all get out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And of course, it was a Chicago Bears practice squad thing. But like,
don't matter. He getting paid.
No, whatever. Hey, no, it's cool. But it was fascinating because, like, we talked about the playoffs. He was like, the playoffs are where the little guys get paid because they get paid the same thing as the big guys because it's not guaranteed. It's not part of their contract. They're not actually paid for the playoffs in their contracts.
I understand that. Yeah.
You know, so like all these guys making minimum wage. Well, they're making the same as the big guys as they advance.
League minimum. Let's clarify that because they ain't making a minimum wage, even if they're on practice squad.
You know what I mean? Do we really have to? Come on, everybody knows it's not actual minimum wage. It's just
dudes over here
making less.
Yeah, he's in line at the grocery store. He's like, man, I wish I could pay for all my groceries, but I've been at practice all week. Making minimum wage.
Earlier this year, was it somebody on the 49ers said they couldn't get their niece a present or something, and Christian McCaffrey bought the guy's niece a present or whatever. It's like you're making several like $100,000 to $1 million a year. How are you not able to buy a gift?
I agree with that statement. I agree with you, Matt. I don't understand how you're making, like six figures easily, and you can't afford to pay for your niece to get a pony or some crap. I don't even remember what the story was, but
it was a nice pony.
Evidently, it must have been like an awesome pony. So Lady Tops have done awesome this past week. The first game they played Sam Houston, and of course, like if you watch the podcast on YouTube, I did update it later on in the night. They beat Sam Houston 76-60. So there's that. I mean, Lady Tops played really, really well. I know Matt, you were in the podcast for part of the game. Did you see any of that game?
I did. I went to the second half, or most of the second half.
Okay.
So I'm not a real fan.
Well, you're a half a fan,
right? I didn't see anybody from Zaxby's there, but anyway.
Okay. I did have a listener message me and ask what was up with that, just so you know. And honestly, and I will tell you this, like at the time I was very heated about this. I was very heated about the situation, and I would thump him in the head if I ever saw the dude. And I still probably will, but I honestly do not care about Zaxby's. I don't care about him. If I saw him on the side of the road, I probably wouldn't stop. I might swerve, but that would be about it. He is like a nice little life.
Nice little side clip.
Yes. Yeah. So honestly, I don't care about Zaxby's. I thought Matt thought I was serious when I was going to kick him off last week because of Zaxby's, but anyway, I do not care.
I knew you were bluffing. There's no way you can sit here and talk about anything for an hour. You've done one bit of research. You need me to do it.
Dude, I've done it. I'll have to.
I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you. You've been prepared remotely lately.
Season 1 and 2 was some of the wildest episodes of our podcast ever because I would refuse to push an episode to the next week. I really would. I would refuse to push it to the next week. And I would go on and I would try and talk about stuff by myself. And I do not listen to those anymore. I have not listened to those. I did some editing on them and stuff like that. But good God, I cannot imagine trying to talk I think some of those episodes were at least 45 minutes of me talking about football. And that was Mike Sanford era football too. So,
God bless you.
Yes. That was some rough stuff back in the day. The Tops did really, really well. They shot 50% from the field. They shot 40% from 3-point land, 66% from the free throw line, and had 38 rebounds, 13 offense, 25 defense, 16 assists, 12 steals, 5 blocks, 17 turnovers, and 17 points off of turnovers. So my question is, Matt, is that the points from the other team, or is that the points we got from turnovers from the other team?
Have you ever seen basketball, Devin?
Yes, I have, but I have completely confused myself on this stat.
Points off turnovers means the points you score off of the other team's turnovers. So
that's what I thought, but I was like,
it's just like a pick six would be points off turnovers in football,
yes,
right? I mean,
yes,
same
yes,
thing.
but like, you've never sat there and confused yourself about something? Like you sat there and you go, okay, this makes sense, and then you go, wait a second, is that not this? And then you go, wait, no, that's this. Yeah, and then by the end of it, you're just going, damn it, I have no idea which way's up right now. Like, that was me about 15 minutes ago reading this stat. I went, wait a damn minute.
Yeah, honestly, I have had those moments, yes. I have.
So, yes, I confused myself mostly on the turnover thing. So, yes, I will take that. But
I didn't mean to call you out in front of everybody.
No, it's all good. I'm not a real fan, so it's fine. Anyway, they had 8 fast break points, 38 points in the paint, 20 fouls, 0 technicals. Largest lead was 26.
Yeah.
Sam Houston couldn't do diddly right, is the way I'm looking at these stats.
Well, yeah, they
Western just did everything better, but go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And when you honestly look in the announcer Riley Chestnut from the Lady Toppers kind of said, like, when you look at the stats, you kind of expect it to be lopsided.
Yeah.
Sam Houston's not that great, and Western honestly is establishing itself as one of the 3 favorites in Conference USA. There are 3 teams, if you look at the standings, that have 12 wins, and then no one else in Conference USA women's basketball has a winning record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So with it being, they're 12-6 now because spoiler alert, they won the next game too. Everyone else has played 16 to 18 games, and no one has more than like 7 wins or something in the conference besides Middle, FIU, and Western.
I was going to say, I just looked, I kind of cheated a little bit to see who the other 2 were, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, Middle obviously is the expected stone cold favorite. I mean, they should probably win the conference for sure. They've got there's a girl, she's a Russian girl, and she's really good, can shoot, can play inside, does all kinds of stuff.
I'm just picturing Rocky IV, but go ahead.
Oh my gosh. And Alexis Mead punches her in the face. But
we got like our own
the championship to win.
She walks up and punches Travis Hudson, and he's like laying there and throw in the towel. No. What is wrong with it? All right, yeah, there's a whole Rocky IV montage I can see going on here, but
so yeah, you've got MTSU, obviously the conference favorite. They've played a tough schedule, and they still have 12 wins, and I think that they're 12-4. They've blown out their conference opponents so far. Western has also fared quite well. They spotted Liberty a huge lead and ended up winning the first game, and then the last 2 they won by double digits. So looking like a three horse race. FIU is kind of the one that's the surprise, even though we had one guy. Shout out to Jake Gibson. He's kind of been like a Lady Topper, big time commenter on some of our tweets and stuff. Has really kind of given some insight, because I honestly, I pay attention, but I think he knows women's basketball, Conference USA women's basketball, better than I do. And he was saying that he kind of expected FIU to be a little better than people thought, but FIU wasn't picked I think they were picked, I was looking last week, maybe 6th or something.
Wow.
7th maybe, and they're looking like a real contender.
I was gonna say stats wise, yeah, they're up there. I mean, obviously we're tied with first right now. And Middle is technically a half game back because they have less conference games right now.
Yeah, FIU was picked 7th.
Yeah. Wow.
And they were like a distant seventh. Like the overall points, the top 5 got at least 50, and
Wow.
in terms of points or whatever, in the poll. And then number 6 was New Mexico State. They got 32. Then FIU got 28. So they
Wow.
were 25, basically expected to do half as well as the 5th place team. Is kind of
That's
the
amazing.
vibe. So yeah, they were not expected to be even decent. They were expected to be below average, and they're actually looking pretty solid. And they have 12 wins. Not just like a decent team. They're 12-5. So you got to be kind of raise your eyebrows, like maybe FIU is a team we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
So very interesting. And I did hear, just to get back to the Lady Tops a little bit, the Sam Houston game, what I heard from the first half, which I missed. Forgive me, y'all. Shabba-dabba. We were recording. But anyway, what I heard from one of our pretty consistent commenters on our feed was that it was the best half that WKU had played this year. So that was interesting. They were up 19 at the break, and then cruised. Actually gave up 3 more points than they scored in the second half. So they really turned off the Jets in the second half. But it was a solid win. Anytime you can win by double digits and not even have to worry about it in conference play is huge. I think it pays dividends down the road because it allows you to not have tons of miles into your starters and your core players when you can play the bench, because you're not worried about losing the game. So even though they gave up, 3 points after halftime, oh well. I mean, it was a nice win. And then, go ahead, man.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, I mean, I 100% agree with you because, anytime that we can get our starters, some bench time and get them, let them keep their legs going with them, is 100% a great thing. By the way, we did Christmas with the in-laws, and I don't know, you might be able to hear this in the background. I hate this damn toy. My daughter got a toy from my wife's cousin. I mean, Abby's cousin too. But they bought her this Minnie Mouse on skates, and it's got this little bear with it that skates too. Concept is fine, but this thing sings the same song over and over and over, and she loves it. And like I jokingly told people, I'm going to leave it at your house. It's like, I'm going to leave this at your house. I'm not taking this home. I'm going to leave it here. Of course, I want to take it home, Dad. Fine, let's take this damn thing home. That's fine. Whatever. So every now and then I'll try and turn it off or push it down the stairs or something just to get rid of it. I don't know if you could hear it just now, but it was just singing, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like I'm getting conditioned to hate this toy. And you're just like, I don't, normally I don't care. It's your toy, kiddo. It's fine, whatever.
It's but like the baby shark of toys. Is that?
Oh my God, yes.
I think I hear it. Is that it?
Yes, that is it. Oh my God. But anyway.
That could get old. Yeah, I could see that.
It gets old very quickly. I try to play other games. I try to distract and get rid of that thing. And just, anyway. But yeah, Sam Houston, obviously bottom of the barrel for Conference USA right now, and as far as women's goes, they are 0-3 in conference, 5-10 overall. Just not having a very good year for Sam Houston. So being able to dominate a weaker opponent like that, and drop 80 points or 76 points. I mean, that's still good. I mean, especially women's games.
We'll take it. Check the box off. In my opinion, nothing. Spectacular. You'd love to see a 40-point win or whatever, but they won. I mean, it's solid. They showed they're the better team. We move on.
Yes. And even going over Sam Houston stats, they shot less than 40% from field. They shot less than 30% from 3-point land. They had 21 turnovers, 2 fast break points, 16 points off turnovers, 22 points in the paint. I mean, and the largest lead was 2. Our largest lead was 26. So, I mean, I'll take it. It's a win. A win's a win. So, just got to get ready for the, like you said, FIU and middle games. which I think the soonest we will play either one is we got FIU. Not this. Well, it's actually we'll talk about it on the next podcast. So we'll see how everything goes as far as that goes, because we will play FIU on the 25th, and I should have it in the show notes. The women are going to Miami to play FIU, and the dudes will play FIU at home. I wish we could have it the other way around, at least for the girls, but we will see them again in March 2nd. So, and then of course, Lady Tops beat Jacksonville State 62-52. Were you a true fan this week or no? Did you go to the game?
Go to the game in Jacksonville? No, I did not.
Oh yeah, you didn't go to Jacksonville. What's wrong with you? No excuse.
I went to the.
I don't care if you've got two kids at home. I don't care if you need gas money. No, you got to go to these games to be a real fan. So, anyway, Western ended up winning 62-52. What did you think of it, Matt? Did you watch?
Yeah.
Not go. Did you watch?
Well, let's see. I watched a little bit of it. Watched a little bit of it. It was frankly ugly.
It looks ugly, but go ahead.
Actually, I didn't get to see any of this. I'm sorry, I did not. I just kind of followed along, but just kind of got the feel for what was going on. I mean, you see the score, 62-52. That's ugly enough. Acacia Hayes was sick. She has some kind of illness and should be fine. Hopefully she's back for the game tomorrow. As far as I know, it was a one-off, probably just like the flu or whatever the ick that's been going around. So hopefully she feels better. But it was clear that we missed her a whole lot. The offense was not as strong. We weren't as deep. There were 4 girls that scored 9 or more points, and then no one else scored more than 3. And that was 6 combined points off the bench.
Good.
So yeah, and Karis Allen also started and didn't score. So it was really those 4 and then nothing. There were some rebounds and stuff, but I mean, really was not much going on besides the starters. And so it's just the Lady Toppers in terms of depth can be a little bit inconsistent, especially if you have an injury or somebody that's out. It really starts to show their cards a little bit that they still need to develop that bench a little bit. In this case, it looks like Josie Gilfin didn't have her best game. She did have a couple steals, which she's a machine on defense, but only had 1 point, took a couple shots in 22 minutes, took a couple free throws, missed 1, didn't have any rebounds. So she normally is a little more active, and you expect her to be more productive than that. Just seems like Aaliyah Pitts too. She usually averages 6, 7, 8 points a game. Played 24 minutes, scores 3 points.
Wow!
So only took 2 shots. So I guess credit to Jacksonville State in some ways. They kept those extra players from really doing anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, they weren't even able to get up shots. I mean, the bench. Let me look at this. The bench played. Let's see, 46, 52, 65 minutes, and they only put up 7 shots.
Good Lord.
So, I mean, I'm not expecting a bench to crank it all night or anything, but like 7 shots off the bench and then 4 free throws.
Yeah, that's
and 1 for 4 from free throws. 2 out of 7 from the field. That's not good enough.
No.
And fortunately, the defense was fine, and the Tops grinded it out. I mean, it was a real grinder. They just kind of made it work. Jacksonville State's another team that's like a 6-9 type of team that's not that great, but they found a way on the road, won by double digits, pulled away at the in the fourth quarter. So again, without Acacia Hayes, you win by double digits on the road, playing like crap. I mean, that's these are good signs, but you also it makes you a little nervous. Honestly, if Jacksonville State had played a little better, this is a loss. I mean,
but very drudge game here.
Yeah, I mean, they're usually the Lady Tops have been playing kind of higher scoring games, and so really just out of character to play a 62-52 type of game. But credit to them, they found a way. They are 3-0 in conference, and winning fairly easily against teams that they probably should. And
Yeah.
the test is coming down the road, but yeah, they're interesting. They've still got a lot of work to do. I'm not convinced that they're at all toe to toe with Middle. I think Middle is probably the clear best team, and then it's us and FIU. Maybe FIU even a little better than us, but we're definitely there in that 3-team race of like any of these 3 teams could possibly win Conference USA, and then everybody else is probably not going to.
Yeah, it's. I think it's kind of as far as the first 3, it's kind of anybody's game. But you can tell by the score that it's definitely a drudge fest as far as, I mean, 62-52. You didn't even make it to 70 points.
Yeah, and we scored almost 40 in the second half to get to 62. I mean, it was ugly.
Yeah, and I was going to say 25% for us from 3-point land. They shot 12.5% from 3-point land.
Yeah, it was not.
That is horrible. Like, and the worst part is, like, I'm saying percentage, but Jacksonville State made 3 of 24 3-pointers. So there were 24 3-pointers that went up, and 21 of those didn't hit nothing. At least we only took 16 3-pointer shots. But anytime you shoot under 50% from the field is not a good night. Like Matt said, it's a rough night for Western. Hopefully, the girls are able to get over, whatever crud they're throwing out there. But, we just got to move on to bigger and better things and look forward to the future. Western girls, they've got New Mexico State. If you're listening on YouTube or any of the podcast stuff, it is going to be tonight at 6:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. On I have to double check where it's going to be played at, but ESPN Plus, of course. Why did I doubt it? ESPN Plus will have that game. They do have multiple games on there, so don't worry about that. And let me see. Type that in my notes. And then, of course, on the 20th, which is 2 days after that, so that'd be a Saturday, Western is going to be playing UTEP. And, of course, the girls are both at home on these 2 games. And then on the 25th, they've got FIU, which the 25th is next Thursday.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to say this. I know there's snow and stuff like that, and whatever it may snow tomorrow.
Oh, no damn excuses. Go to the game. What's wrong with you people? Go on.
But yeah, the last game there was 831 or something. There is what I saw. I think.
Yeah,
and that's pitiful.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely
853. Excuse me. So I mean, like, come on, guys, let's support the Lady Tops. They're good.
Yeah.
Once again, right now they're ahead of the guys in the standings for the 14,000th year in a row. I mean, they deserve some crowds. They also have a lot of cool stuff going on Saturday. I hope it doesn't get canceled because they have like a daddy-daughter dance after, and they have some like bead thingies where they're making like friendship bracelets. It's like Taylor Swift night or something.
Oh, that's cool.
Father-daughter night and Taylor Swift night. And then Thursday is the Critter Classic. I think if you maybe I think you have to bring like cat litter or cat food or something. And
I was waiting for you to be like, oh, you have to bring a critter with you. I was like, what is that? What are people bringing? That is not a dog. That's a hairy uncle. What is that? But
his name is Jeff.
Yeah, his name is Jeff. But yeah, definitely. I mean, that's honestly, that's the kind of stuff that I would love to see Western do a lot more of. Is those events where you can, do something fun, like you said, helping out with like Humane Society stuff by bringing stuff, or the daddy-daughter stuff. I mean, that's awesome. I love that stuff. That's awesome. Now let's go to
Yeah, here's what it is. Stephanie my wife was telling me about this today, actually. So the first 200 people there get Lady Topper blackout shirts. It's a blackout, so wear black. And then they get Tops dog bowls for the first 250 fans.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
So it's like an actual dog bowl. It's got the Tops, the new Tops logo in it.
Is
pretty
that
nice.
how that works? Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, that is how it works, Devin. I mean, just in case. You know what? Someone may not be as intuitive as you, Devin, and I'm trying to help.
Okay.
Help poor Jimmy at home out.
Okay.
Jimmy, right. I got your back, man. Now you know what dog bowl you're going to get when you're the first 250 people there.
Oh, my gosh.
You're welcome.
So the men's side of things wasn't quite as good as the Lady Tops the other night. Reluctantly, So, guys, of course, I kind of watched the end of the game on ESPN as I was doing some production stuff on the podcast last week and updated the score. Obviously, Tops lost 78-74. Of course, we didn't watch a lot of it because we were recording, and that's my fault. But
yes, it was. I offered and you refused.
But
once again, Devin gets in my way of my fandom.
Yep, that's all my fault, 100%. But no, Western. What do you think? Off night or what? What was your takeaway from it, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Sam Houston's turned out to be pretty good. They're 3-0 in conference.
Yeah,
who saw that coming? They were picked middle of the pack at best. They may have been lower than FIU on the women's side. Let me look it up because I don't remember offhand.
Well, I don't. Well, on the flip side, while you're looking it up, I don't think anybody picked Liberty to be as low in the rankings as they are.
Yeah, they were. I'm surprised, but it turns out.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it just turns out they're really small. They don't have any guys taller than 6'7", and they play a couple of 5'10" guards, so they're kind of getting gobbled up. Conference USA, especially the teams that were already here. There's some big teams up in Conference USA, and that was part of why it was so good last year.
Yeah,
because you had real size. Like it wasn't like the old Sunbelt days where everybody has like a 6'8", 6'9", like Cozart type of player.
Yeah,
as like your big centerpiece. Like there's some monsters in Conference USA, and if you're 6'7" and white, for the most part, I mean, your athleticism, whatever. You got 5'10" little white guys passing the ball around, shooting threes.
Jake Omer.
6'7". Yeah. I mean, honestly, yes. That's pretty much who you've got, minus the cirrhosis.
Cystic fibrosis, but anyway.
Oh my god.
But no, like honestly, I think everybody just expected Liberty to come into Conference USA and just take advantage. But
they haven't.
You missed.
Well, they had a good non-conference, so you think, okay, well, they top 80, whatever, and then they've lost. Are they 0-3?
They are 0-3 in conference and 11-7 overall. So I haven't.
They were 11-4. So they come to Western. You're thinking like they're probably going to beat Western, and then Western honestly crapped themselves to only win by 2.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, once we figured out their kind of style, it was really a 10, 12-point game, even though obviously we only won by 2.
They played the Mid-Atlantic. I don't know who that is. They beat them 103-43. They played Charlotte, Furman, Wichita State, which that's another one we played, and they beat them too as well.
Yeah.
Vermont, MD Eastern,
Maryland Eastern,
FAU. They lost to, or FAU's number 13.
I mean, they've been.
I mean, they were good last year. I get that, but I did
they returned everybody.
Oh,
they returned they didn't lose a single player. Nobody transferred. They kept them all, and they came back this year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was Kentucky or like one of the big boys, I'd be like trying to poach that all over. But anyway, Charleston, they lost to Mississippi Valley State, the Devils.
Yeah.
I think they're the Devils. Yeah.
The Delta Devils.
Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils. There you go.
Yep.
I'm hoping they beat them. Yeah, 74-39. That's amazing. But yeah, I feel like who they've beaten isn't anybody though.
Yeah, I mean that's valid. But
They lost to Alabama 101-56. I didn't even know they had a basketball team. But anyway.
Oh boy. So yeah, it is a surprise though. I mean, seriously, they were looking like a quality team. Like I thought, solid
they're paper
favorite heading into
tigers.
conference, and then like I know WKU can compete with them, whatever, but it ended up like we were really the better team that game. Once we figured out their style and like how to deal with their little guys, which they were, I mean, they were tough to deal with. They were quick and they would get around the corner and they have a nice smooth offense that creates a lot of open looks especially for the fact that they don't have any size. So they create problems because they're quick and really crisp on things, and so they're well coached and all that. But I mean, yeah, that size really and lack of like elite athleticism. There was nobody on the court that was like, "Wow, that guy is a freak." It was just kind of solid, trustworthy, like solid guys. But it wasn't like anything spectacular where you're like, "Man, that kid, how did he end up at Liberty? Like he should be at, X Power 5 or whatever." There wasn't anybody like that. So
I mean, I guess.
And Sam Houston, by the way, you're asking about Sam Houston and where they finished and stuff. They were, or where they were predicted. They were predicted to be 6th, just like FIU on the women's side.
Yeah.
So there was like a big clump of people kind of in the middle. From 4th to 8th was like 48 to 30 points. So really not that much of a difference. So, and then there was Jacksonville State, by the way, who got 12 total points.
Oh my gosh.
Which means that they only got 3 non-last place votes.
Wow. Good gosh.
I'm pretty sure. So, because I think you get 1 point for a last place vote. They got 12 and there's 9 teams. So they got 3 non-last place votes. So they were like the clear, also ran or whatever, like the clear cellar dweller. And they're like 2-1 in conference.
How would you like to be the team though that's voted last place? Like that is such a smack in the face, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Like of course, like part of that's you could use that as motivation and be like, "Oh, come on, guys, we're not going to be last place," and then you go back, leave the locker room and you go, "Damn, we're going to be last place." But I mean, Western lost by 4 to Sam Houston, and Sam Houston's right now. I mean, Western's obviously 1 game back. But there's a lot of basketball left to play. La Tech is number 3 right now, right behind Western. So I think there's a possibility of kind of like a. I guess what I'm trying to say is like a carryover from girls. We've got this 3-way at the top of Conference USA here. Obviously, Western and La Tech, Western and Sam Houston are going to be dominating that, but La Tech could be a wild card in there. I'm just saying.
Well, I still say the men's side for me is a little more muddled than that. Like Sam Houston they're tough and they play some defense and stuff like that. I still don't know what to think of them. WKU obviously would know, way exceeding expectations this year. Clearly one of the favorites in the conference, maybe the favorite. Really, I don't know if we're considered the favorite by everybody else, but I mean, we certainly have shown that we have some chops. Honestly, Jacksonville State, like Kai Tandy, is a freaking force of nature. I mean, he was amazing. What he did against Western, I mean, he was. I mean, he's really he looks like the shoe-in player of the year, conference player of the year for me. I mean, he is so good. And
that's great.
He was at Xavier and really didn't get to play a lot. He's from Kentucky, and somehow he ended up at Jacksonville State as a I think he's a grad transfer. He's listed as a senior. But I mean, my goodness, he was impressive, and he almost single-handedly beat Western. I mean, it took Western's best effort in the second half. He controlled the whole first half, and then they finally, credit to Christian Lander, who, by the way, had a terrible offensive game, but defensively, the man shut down Tandy and didn't shut him down, but he made his life a lot more difficult, made him take more threes instead of driving, and really did a good job making someone else beat Western, and they really didn't have anybody else that could back him up. And so really good job all around in the second half. You'd like to see Western not completely fall asleep, because Western started out 8-0. I think it was also like 16-8 or something like that. There was another 8-point lead. And then from that point forward, Jacksonville State swung at 16 points in the other direction. Western goes down 8 at half.
Dang.
With like from 12 minutes on, it was a 16-point swing. So in 12 minutes, Western gave up 16 points in scoring margin and goes in basically in a hole to start the half. And then Jacksonville State comes out, stops us, and makes a bucket. So they're up 10 in the second half. And Western obviously poured it on and actually won by 11. So the second half they win by 19?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So it was a tale of two halves, but you got to be proud of them for stepping on the gas and everything and waking up. But Lord, it was just up and down, and I think the reason that Western is struggling to be consistent still is the turnovers. Like, they are turning the ball over like crazy. I mean, it's really alarming at this point. They were, early on in the season, they were kind of low teens in turnovers. And this is the beginning of the season too, when you're trying to find yourself. And then in the last few games, conference play, and maybe like late December, there's been some games like Western's had 15 or more turnovers several times the last few games, and it's like you are screwing yourself, and it makes it where it's difficult. Like, the reason Western lost against Sam Houston State was not the refs. I mean, people were upset about the refs, and people were saying it was the worst officiated game I ever seen in my life and whatever. And it honestly, it was slanted a little bit to them, but what really happened was Western screwed around in the first half, got lucky to be down 6, and they basically had to play their best. And Sam Houston also played well in the second half, and Western couldn't overcome it. Like,
I mean, and the other thing,
guys scored 0. There were 4 key guys had 0 points heading into the half of Sam Houston. You can't do that and then just magically turn it on the second half and hope you win. You dug a hole, and then you just weren't good enough to dig out of the hole.
And I mean, statistically, if a team's at home, they're going to get calls their way. So yes, statistically, there could be a toss-up call, and it could go to the home team. Does it go to Western ever? No, but that's just statistics,
Yeah, I mean,
and that's true. Because I don't know what it is about Western, but I mean, ever since I was there back in the early 21st century, but Western never got calls. Football, basketball, it didn't matter. If it was a close call, we wouldn't get it, and I don't know if it's just because we're them rough bunch boys from Western Kentucky or what, but we just never got a call.
You know what? This is not my real theory necessarily, but I mean, the red honestly could be a psychological thing.
Well, even the
red is angry, right? Red projects anger.
Red is passion and anger, and
right,
of course.
Yeah. So anyway,
no, you're good.
I don't know if that's true or not, but who knows? But I'll say this. I mean, I went back and I watched that daggum game because I was like, everybody was talking about it. Of course, I was at the girls' game, right? So I don't really know what happened. I kind of watched it on my phone. And I watched the whole thing back one night, a couple nights later, because I was like, everybody was talking about this. Obviously, I missed something. I need to know what happened.
Yeah.
This was a tragedy, a travesty, like, oh my gosh.
Like, tragedy.
Yeah, travesty. Anyway, whatever, my bad. So I go back and check it, and I'm like, okay, that was a foul. That was a foul. That was a stupid foul. That's borderline, but I can see why they called it. I mean, like, I counted, and I seriously, like, rewound the tape and stuff, and I was like, I really want to see if maybe I'm just crazy. And I counted, maybe 6 calls that went against Western that were like, yeah, well, that's pretty stupid. And then there were also a couple that went in Western's favor too. So 6-2 is,
Yeah.
I mean, like, refs are allowed to make a mistake. Sometimes they have bad calls. It wasn't like it was like 15 bad calls against Western and then 1 bad call against Sam Houston. It was like, it was a little bit slanted to Sam Houston, but sometimes that just happens. Sam Houston was more aggressive, so they got more calls.
Well, do you think, hypothetically, that the refs should have to have a post-game press conference too? I'm serious. Like, some people are advocates for the refs going out and answering for some of their calls. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but, maybe have like the head official come out and sit and be like, what did you think of the calling tonight? Well, I thought it was pretty good. Okay, well, see you, bye. Or whatever. Just. I mean, honestly, there are some calls that they need. I mean, some calls can change the flow of a game.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure coaches are not the best people to be sitting beside at that point. In the press conference, but it's something to think about. I mean, I think it's a very interesting.
I just think, like, what it does is it allows people, like, people want to hate the refs. So if you put them in front of everybody and you let everybody know who they are and what they did, like,
I'm not saying to dox them, but I do think you should own your call.
If they have a press conference, the next team that plays them is going to know everything that they did wrong in the last game, and they're going to give them crap for it.
Well, okay, and a side note on this, I don't see how we are not to the point where technology cannot just call fouls on its own. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we not have like an AI technology that can be like,
Now, hold on, Devin. Are you one of them people that believes in them job stealers at Walmart?
Yes.
By God, believe in the self-checkout crap?
First off, Walmart is the worst example of that. I will say that right now. Dude, I'm not even kidding. I was in electronics one day and I couldn't find something. And this is like before I had the app or whatever. And I'm walking around for like 30 minutes looking for this cotton picking thing. Can't find anybody in the electronics section of Walmart. And then I walk out into the, I finally see somebody. So I go to say something to them. They pretend they don't see me and go running back to the back of the store. I was like
full on sprint.
It was a fast jog, and I'm even going, hey, what's up? I'm trying to find something. Where are you going? Hey, come back. What are you doing? And they're gone. And it's like, okay. And and it's like, what the heck? It's one of those where you go, you know what? I'm fine with the self-checkout, but I want my W-2 come, February and March or whatever. Anyway, so yes, Skynet needs to take over basketball. Yes, I'm fine with that. And football. That dude, that'd be funny as all get out if there's like 6 or 7 pitching machines with flags on the sidelines, and all of a sudden one just shoots out and hits somebody in the face. That would be funny as all get out. Boom. Holding. Oh, we got a holding call on number 62.
Oh, man.
That thing, dude, if that thing malfunctioned, it would be even funnier. I'm just saying. You start shooting flags across the field, and people are like, oh, my God, it's broken.
Personal foul on the false start.
Exposing himself to the offense. What? That didn't happen. He was
giving him the business.
So, Western, obviously, like you said, beat Jacksonville 80-69, did a great job. Looking at the next few couple games here, Western has the men's playing New Mexico State. Dude, they got some traveling to do. They're going to be playing New Mexico State on tomorrow, or if you're listening on the others, today at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And then they play UTEP on Saturday night, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern,
How
8
sucky
p.m.
is that? Think about the travel. Like back in football days, we had an
Dude.
8 o'clock game in El Paso.
Oh my
How
gosh.
late are they getting back?
Would you
mean,
come back though? Would you come back? If you
I
got a
don't
game 2
know.
days later, you're not coming back.
Well, I mean, okay, on Saturday though, Saturday at
Let's
UTEP.
okay. Let's a hypothetical if we're doing a football game. And let's say it's 8 p.m. at El Paso. I don't know what the flight time is on that, but you got a 3 to 4 hour game.
Mm-hmm. It'd be 3.5 hour flight, I would think.
And of course, the jet stream is going to affect that too. It says 3 hours and 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Of course, it's connected, but I don't know how that. Let's see. It won't do. It probably won't do a straight shot for normal people.
Probably. And I don't know how basketball does it because they don't have a big enough party to like just get a charter flight.
Well, I mean, it's basketball. You know they get a flight. Of course, you know they probably take about 75 donors with them too. So they cram all them dudes in there, and all the support staff and the media people, and everybody gets to go on a
only
great
like 50 people on a 100-person plane. I don't know what they do. I really don't.
Dude, do you not remember back in the day how the okay, so this is behind the scenes a little bit here for the last few minutes of the episode. When we would travel, there was like an 8-hour rule. It was kind of an unwritten rule. If it was over 8 hours, we flew. And I was just betting on it. There was only one time that we didn't do that, and that was when we went to New Orleans, and I have no idea why that worked out that way. But the when we chartered, they would take 4 buses. The first bus was either offense or defense. The second bus was the other. The third bus was like everybody else on the team. So like your second strings, your special teams dudes and all that. And the fourth bus was the support staff. So the trainers, the managers, the camera people, and then you crammed everybody else you wanted to go with you on that bus. So you had reporters, you had donors, you had everybody in between. You had some old lady who went on every trip because her son went back in the 60s or something. So yeah, there's that. But yes, Matt, I know you were after this era, and I'm kind of ranting, but
you are.
You do not remember. You do not remember Wood Seelig, who was the AD at Western.
Yeah, I do.
Were you there when Seelig was there?
Yeah, he was.
Do you remember his
2010? I think.
Do you remember his children that needed an exorcism most of the time, and we couldn't watch shit on a away trip because of his little? But anyway,
hey, we're an hour in, man. I mean, God bless y'all if y'all hung on this long. Appreciate you.
True fans, yes. I'll have to go back and
comment and tag us if you heard this segment.
I'll have to delete that at that point. I'll have to bleep.
Damn
okay, there you go. But they really were, dude, and I'm not even kidding. Like I remember going on trips, and we'd be sitting there and we'd be like, okay, hypothetically speaking, we're like, hey, let's watch Deadpool. It wasn't out then, but it's a rated R movie that everybody, probably would have liked in general. And it'd be like, no, we can't watch that. Well, why not? Oh, Wood's kids are on the bus. Damn it. So, yeah, you'd have to end up watching like Homeward Bound or Space Jam, which, by the way, Space Jam was a great movie back in the day. But,
yeah, I would have been fine with that.
Actually, I think we did watch that on a away trip. Do you remember that?
Quality flicks.
We did watch that on the support bus one time. I think, was it Nebraska or somewhere else? We ended up watching that movie on the way to the game, and basically watched the whole movie on the way to set up.
Now that could have been Nebraska because it was a long
dude,
drive.
That was a long, boring drive. But yeah, that was Wood's kids were awful, and I was not sad to see him go. But anyway, I'm just glad that Old Dominion has to deal with him now. But anyway, dude, his kid's got to be in college by now.
He must be. that was. Oh gosh, that was uncalled for. 15 years ago, though. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sure they're grown.
Oh, dude. Good God. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, if Little Will is playing or is playing for Western, then you know that they're going to be doing something. So,
oh, Devin.
Yes,
oh boy,
those little hellions are doing whatever.
I will say this for those that have hung on through Devin dropping F-bombs on Wood Silly's children. To get back to the subject at hand.
Yeah.
The tops against New Mexico State, UTEP. I feel like people are going to have this expectation. It better be 2 wins on the road or we ain't going to win championship in Steve Lutt's era. I think people need to temper their expectation. We'll be lucky to win one of two. Hopefully we'll get both. But it's showing like New Mexico State's a 51.1% favorite. And then UTEP is actually more of a solid favorite, 56.4. So it's completely okay if Western doesn't win both of these, especially at altitude, especially a long trip, late at night.
I was going to say
either a lot going against, lack of knowing the opponent. I mean, we haven't played New Mexico State in recent memory. Nobody knows anything about them except Jordan Rawls, who's on that team, by the way. But I mean, hopefully people are going to be realistic about this. I hope they win both. That'd be great because that'd be a huge statement. But if they don't, let's not have a meltdown and talk about how Steve Lutz is a failure and how this team doesn't have any heart. If they win 1 or 2, they're doing what they probably should have done.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, if you come into this with over expectations, I think you're crazy. Because to be as good as we are where we are, Western is doing great. Because I thought it was a rebuilding year too. I mean, but I think that we should have some success with Western. Now are we going to go to the dance? I don't know. It's too early to tell. But with this trip, if flying, driving, whatever, there's going to be jet lag. There's going to be other factors going to play into this. You have got to be realistic when you're watching this stuff. I mean, we're sitting at second place right now. We're 1 game back from Sam Houston. I think you just continue playing the best ball you can play, and you just move on from there. You cannot overhype yourself. We don't need to overhype anything, especially going into, like you said, UTEP, New Mexico State. Both of those are not doing the best in conference right now, but you don't underestimate them and you don't overestimate Western's possibilities.
Yeah.
You just got to keep trucking. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's amazing that Western's put themselves in this position. I know we need to wrap it up and stuff, but anyway, we put ourselves in this position where we could have a losing record and still get the rest of the year.
Yeah.
We could have a losing record the rest of the year and still get to 20 wins. If you had told me that we were pretty much definitely going to get 20 wins this year, I would have at least questioned you and the fact that you're being a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that Western has put itself in position now to be hoping to get to 25 wins is incredible. And so regardless of what happens this weekend, let's support the Tops, get out there, get the diddle, make plans to go to Huntsville. Oh my gosh, we got to talk about conference tournament next week or something because I'm going. Okay, I'm freaking going to Huntsville, and I think people need to go. I think we need to have a whole bunch of red there. I don't care what your excuse is. I'm going.
Be a real fan.
I'm going, and I'm taking off of work or whatever, and I'm just gonna go cheer on the Tops because it's close enough. It's finally close enough. We've all complained about, I wish it was closer and whatever. Why is it in Texas? Well, it's not. Let's go support the Tops in the best start since it's still the best start since 2002. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
on the Tops, man.
I'm pretty sure we talked about
the bus.
Pretty sure we talked about this at some point too, right? Like moving the tournament from Fresco to somewhere a little more centralized, but
Yeah.
And I
We
mean,
definitely talked about it.
I mean, apparently Judy listened, so thank you, Judy, for listening to us. But yes,
Judy. Shout
last
out
thing
to
to
her.
close out here in the podcast is talking about supporting the Towel Rack and inadvertently Red Out as well.
Oh.
Matt, I'll let you take over, bud.
Okay, man. I didn't know if we were gonna cram this in
I
at
will
the
let
end
you
or
have this right here at the end.
okay. And maybe we can talk a little more next week or whatever.
We will put it at the beginning next week.
Okay. But yeah, excited about developments in the Towel Rack. First of all, I am, I guess, I don't know, senior editor or whatever you want to call me in Towel Rack now. El Jefe.
Mm-hmm.
But doing some exciting things, giving people an opportunity. You know, we've had people asking, hey, can we support your work, whatever, stuff like that. So we should be having that opportunity here in the next few weeks. Also, we're looking for companies that want to advertise. We have a platform that between Red Out and Towel Rack that reaches 10,000 people a week. And touches a lot more than that. And so, if you're a business and you're looking to advertise and you want an audience that catches a lot of Western fans, local Bowling Green people, but also regionally around, this area and even the country and even the world, you know, hit us up for advertising. We're certainly going to be reasonable on pricing, and so we'd love to talk to people about possibly advertising with us.
Yep.
Also advertising on the podcast, like if somebody hit us up and said, hey, we want to sponsor the Lady Topper segment and whatever, and we're a women's health thing or whatever, I mean, or whatever it is, we'd love to talk to people like that. Also, we'll start advertising this too, but looking for, if somebody wants to write and you can really write, or that's been your passion, or you'd love to talk about the tops or whatever, we'd love to hear if you're interested in working with us. And so just really excited about some things going on with the Towel Rack. We're trying to get out more on social media, trying to be what you may remember the Towel Rack as. I feel like the last couple of years we've kind of slacked off, and that's just because everybody got busy. We're in our 30s, everybody's got a job, but
life happens.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine.
Way to explain it. Yeah,
that's fine. It's not a guilt trip. It's not a shot at anybody or anything.
Kind of sounds like it, but that's fine. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Devin. Again, if you've made it 68 minutes, we appreciate you, but it's okay if you've already fallen off the episode. Anyway, but just really excited about what's going on with Towel Rack. There's a lot going on in our sports right now, a lot of positive things. Football had a down year and had 8 wins. Lady Tops are looking good and hopefully going to crack through and break through the tournament. The guys, baseball, softball, volleyball, whatever. There's a lot of good going on the hill. So we're excited, and we want to make sure and bring that to you. Get with us if you're interested in some kind of sponsorship, or you want to know how you can get involved. We are going to tournament. I'm going as Towel Rack as long as we get approved from Conference USA, which it sounds like we will. So I'm excited, and I'm ready for the rest of this year, because I think somebody's going dancing, and I'm going to try to follow them to the dance.
All right. That sounds great. Like Matt said, you can reach out. I will put the WKU Redout at gmail.com. You could definitely email us there. And then, of course, Matt, you can message on Twitter and any of those other platforms to reach the Towel Rack. As far as that's concerned, for that, if you have any inquiries or anything like that, just let us know, and we will be glad to speak with you on whatever it is. If you would like to write for us, you have to have a basic understanding of the English language. So, with that said, Western is going to be playing next week. Well, like I said, on January 18th, we played New Mexico State, boys and girls. If you can't make the trip, you can watch the New Mexico State game on ESPN Plus. You can watch, if you're not in the Bowling Green area, you can watch it on ESPN Plus as well. You can watch both of those games on there. Most of those games are on ESPN Plus. On the 20th, Western is going to be playing UTEP. That's 1 p.m. for the ladies Eastern time and 9 p.m. for the guys. And that's both those Eastern times. And then next week, we will talk about the matchup with FIU and the next couple games after that. So we appreciate your support. Thank you for listening this far. And as always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Go Tops.
T-O-P-S.
What?
T-O-P-S.
Top. All right, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Peace out, homie. Love ya.